Sweet Christmas! It's time for Luke Cage at AFTERBUZZ TV. Welcome to the very first Luke Cage After Show. We're talking about episodes 1 and 2, Moment of Truth and Code of the Streets.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AFTERBUZZ TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Hey guys, welcome back to AFTERBUZZ TV. It's time for the Luke Cage After Show. I'm your host, Zach Wilson. Guys, Luke Cage just premiered.
We did it, guys.
We did it.
We did it.
Guys, thank you so much for tuning in. We're going to be covering all of Luke Cage's. There's so much to talk about. We binged this show. So we're doing 2 episodes at a time. Warning up top, no spoilers. If you're commenting on YouTube, if you're writing reviews on iTunes, keep it clean, guys. Not just for us, because we're watching as we tape these shows, but for all the fans who are watching with you or haven't had time to binge like you crazy people who finished it in like less than 13 hours somehow. I don't know how you did it, but I know you did. So guys, I'm your host, Zach Wilson. You can find me on Twitter at @ZachWilson. I have an amazing panel that we've assembled for this show. Tauri Miller.
Yo, I'm Tauri Miller. You can find me on Twitter at TauriJ, GAURIJAY. Yeah.
Good morning, everyone. I'm so excited to be here. I'm Joelle Monique. You can find me everywhere on the internet at Joelle Monique.
Hi, everyone. I'm Jesse Klein. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at JessKlein1. That's JessKlein, the number 1.
And we've got Alexis Torres.
What up, everybody?
Man in the chat room
Heck
for us.
Yeah, this is my spot. I have claimed it. You can find me where all shenanigans will ensue at atorres890. ATORRES 890.
All right, guys, let's dive into these episodes. As I said, we're talking about episodes 1 and 2. I just want to get your guys' first reactions after your first this isn't the first time we've seen Luke Cage, but this is his show.
Yeah.
Truly his show in so many ways. What are your guys' thoughts?
I loved it. Because he's so gosh darn relatable. It hurts my soul just to be like, I'm him, he's me, which is rare for someone of color. I can say that, right? I can say that.
If you can't, who can? Everyone else has to leave.
You can. Me and Jesse are just sort of looking down. Like,
Yeah. How much did you relate to him?
Be better than the New York Times. The review made me angry.
But yeah, it was fantastic.
Yes.
So badass.
The opening in the barbershop, without going too far into it, was, as we talk about relatability, it was, God, so many afternoons with my dad in the barbershop. My grandfather owns a barbershop. I was like, this right here is life. This is so amazing. And then that background of Harlem, I loved it.
I say it every time we do one of these after shows, but if you are a comic book fan, you are living in the best possible timeline. Holy hell, we get Cottonmouth, Misty Knight. We get to see everyone on screen and doing it amazingly. Also, if you want me to like something, combine comic books and late 90s basketball, and I will love it immediately. Holy, all the Pat Riley drops and stuff like that. I was like, yeah, this is my favorite opening to anything ever.
That's what I really loved about this show is that, yes, it's a comic book show, but that's almost its secondary genre.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
They went out and they made just a show.
Yeah.
And then it has a bulletproof guy in the middle of it.
Yeah.
And it continued. We see Luke. We're getting to know him for him now. We got to know him in relation to Jessica Jones, because that was where he was on Jessica Jones's show.
Yeah.
Now this is Luke Cage. Alexis, what do you think?
I watched this at work. Not a good idea. Because it's a very open space, so my computer is the biggest one out of all of them, so people are just stopping at my desk and they're like, what episode are you on? I'm like, shut up, I'm watching! And so it was just really great, and I also agree that when the basketball scene came up, I was just like, yes, this is the best thing ever. I'm not crying. Shut up! It was just great. I love how everybody kind of huddled around my desk and watched Luke Cage, and we just had a great time. We forgot about work all day Friday.
That's what's these shows just truly they capture an audience in a way that you can't stop looking at your screen.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But that opening, that introduction to this world is just unashamedly Harlem in every way, shape, or form.
Yes.
Like, how did you guys feel about talking about this like as a pilot? How do you guys feel about this introduction to the world?
I loved it. Loved it. Our introduction to Misty Knight almost brought me to my knees. I was like, this is, first of all, her hair. Like, I'm just going to mention it. I'm going to say it. Her twist outs are perfect. Like,
Right? I was thinking the
how?
same thing.
Like, what do you sleep in a magic scarf? What is your routine? Because it's perfection. It's so beautiful.
Because she has like 8 people helping her out with
Well,
her
yeah.
hair.
She wakes up at 2 in the
No,
morning.
Misty
and
is a
someone does it
detective,
from
and
scratch.
somehow she manages to be a great cop and have a perfect twist out. I don't understand it, but I love it.
She borrowed Doctor Strange's magic scarf
There
of
it
twist
is. There it is.
and that's what she sleeps in.
The tomb of twist
The
outs.
tomb of twist out.
God. Yeah, but then and then Cottonmouth's Club, like
it's
to
so
have
cool.
Raphael Sadiq there, I was like, what is even happening? Like, it was great.
Sadiq, who also I think he recorded the official like theme song.
Did he
Yeah.
now? I didn't know
There's
this.
like a single that they put out for Luke Cage, which is like
What?
yeah, it's available on iTunes. I highly recommend you check it out.
My whole
Nice.
heart.
But yeah, so let's talk about Luke in this episode because
Yeah.
his name's on the
Is
logo.
it?
Oh.
I didn't notice.
But let's talk about him
I
first.
thought it
Like,
said Nick Cage.
so he's like
Different show.
he ran. Oh, I would watch that though.
I'm just sweeping hair.
Sorry,
I'm just sweeping hair.
you got me off track now. But like, did you know? Little did you know, Nick Cage
Is
is named for
after
Luke Cage.
Yeah.
I expected everybody in this room to know
Yeah.
it, but I didn't know if the audience did. Like Nick
He's a
Cage is such a
Coppola.
fan of Luke Cage, when he didn't want to be called Coppola anymore, he changed his name to Cage because he liked Luke.
He's
Yeah.
a real badass.
Look at that guy.
So we pick up like when we last saw Luke, he was sort of like leaving from Jessica's side, and this is where we pick him up. He ran away so far, like 50 blocks north. But right now he is, I guess he's still hiding in a way, but less hidden. Right?
Yeah,
He
well,
didn't change his name, not just for like logistical purposes of the show.
Right.
Yes. But yeah, no, I mean, I kind of like where we're picking up this idea of redemption through good works. It's very kung fu, which I like. We have these little touches of like kung fu filmography throughout the whole, the first 2 episodes at least. And the idea that he is just contented here. Like, I'm gonna help Pop. Pop is a good, like, maybe the best person that Luke knows who's been through similar situations, and can understand, like, you have to work at your own pace to get back on your feet. Even though Pop is out there, like, maybe go look at this woman. She's beautiful. She
get
wants
some coffee.
you.
I don't like coffee.
Go get coffee.
He has sort of found himself in, like, similar to when he had his bar, he's in a comfortable scenario.
Yeah.
Where he feels like, all right, everybody knows me here, but, like, nobody knows me.
Yeah.
I don't have to open up. He's only opened up to Pop. Do you think that was a wise choice?
Well, yeah. I mean, he needs someone to be his confidant. I mean, no man can get along without being able to share himself in some way. And he's definitely not doing it with a lady. Even though he just wait,
At
girl.
first.
Just
At
you
first.
wait.
Get to that scene.
That was the one scene I was like, sorry guys, you're gonna have to leave. I can't do this at work right now. I'm gonna get caught and it's gonna be real weird.
I would tell Pop literally anything.
Same here.
Oh, yeah.
As soon as I met the character, my first note, and we'll get into it in episode 2, was, I hope the avuncular black guy doesn't die in this Marvel series.
You mean the Uncle Ben of Luke Cage?
Yeah, there you go. Thank you.
I was like, this guy's doomed.
Why is it in every Marvel series? Like, so far in Daredevil, the avuncular black guy dies, and Jessica Jones, the avuncular black
Well,
guy
I
dies.
dare you to find me one surviving father figure in Marvel.
Reed.
That counts.
Reed Richards.
Yeah, but
also a
on
brother,
screen,
though,
he's
like-
never made it to
Yeah.
father figure.
Yeah, that's true. On screen, he has not made it to father figure.
Oh boy.
Yeah, that'll stop you
I don't
thinking.
want to talk about that.
Chat, I dare you to name me one father
I'm waiting
figure.
for it. I'm waiting. We have a little bit of a lag, but it's there.
But yeah, so I think that this makes the most sense for Luke. Like, he's working like a bunch of jobs. He doesn't want companionship at all because he's like the last few times he's done it have not ended well.
No.
Comas and crazy ladies. It's been difficult for Luke, but I'm with Pop where you're like, but dude, think of all the good you could do. I like that Pop is both patient and strong-handed. Like he's like, this way.
Yeah.
You can do it. Go. And but also, you know, knowing that Luke needs time to come out of his shell. He's been hurt bad, guys. He's been hurt. To see him like cower a little bit in front of Shades, you know, was just a humbling kind of a moment. Like you it's really difficult to kill you, dude. Like you probably don't have to be afraid anymore. But that still affects him.
Yeah.
He's a human.
He's scared. He's scared. Like this is a guy who, like, his like introduction scene in the basement, like where he's like lifting up the washing machine.
Yeah.
Oh, beautiful.
And, but this is like he has been like we're finally seeing like how much he's been through and how deeply it's affected him. Not just because he's lost his wife, but the experiment that they keep hinting at. This has torn his life apart.
Yeah, and also just when they talk about the American justice system and they talk about when you get out of prison, a lot of people never leave. Even though they might physically not be in prison anymore, the mentality that you're in kind of keeps you there. And like Pop talks about it, like the pacing never goes away and that kind of thing. You can see Luke is still really affected by his time in prison. And as we get more flashbacks, we'll see why. But it looked like it wasn't a good prison time. It looked like it was a pretty bad one. It wasn't a Martha Stewart.
Here's the thing, like the flashes that we got, some of them were so quick. That was him getting kicked, right?
Yeah, it was him
because
getting-
like the only thing that I could see that like the only reason I questioned it was because like there was definitely hair on that head.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm like, is that supposed to be Luke?
I was
I mean, it
like,
might be hard to shave in prison, like keep up the
Or
clean
like
look.
part of the experimental super soldier serum that he got also like
Alopecia.
makes you lose your hair. But like he can keep a perfect goatee. it's like Doctor Strange or Tony Stark. Like they don't. That's just how it grows. Like,
Right.
Iconic facial hair just it's an accident.
It's
Doesn't
ingrained.
flinch.
We got a lot of people saying stuff going back to the dads in Marvel. They were like Coulson on Shield, Zach, what? And I don't know, that's what they put. And Hank Pym.
Sure.
And then Haywood said Zach is Odin. I don't know.
Odin is not in a great place right now, guys.
I mean, in the comic book universe, he's died multiple times.
Yeah. Also a terrible father.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Hank's
Yeah.
not a great always role model either. So
And I guess Ares in the comic book universe as well.
Also, Coulson, just rewatch Avengers and tell me that he's
Whoa, don't kill the messenger, you asked.
anyway. But so it seems like like Luke is just like he's sort of caught in a unfortunate like placement. Like
Yeah.
it's happening around him. He can't really escape it because he tries his best to keep out of it. Right.
Yeah.
When Chico runs into him, he's just like, you know what? You do your thing. I'm gonna sweep his hair.
I was like, this is the Uncle Ben moment. I was like, this is when he could have stopped the robber. This is when
Yep.
he could have stopped something but decided not to. I was like, oh, that's a great way to just kick off his guilt trip and then save the world. Like,
Yeah.
and it also felt real because I mean, at this point, like, especially with the kids, like, I don't need a dad. All right, kid, like, I don't have time. Like, just go. Just don't do anything stupid. He obviously does, but
Yeah.
I understand the feeling. Just like, just go then. Just I don't have time. You don't care anyway. I don't care. I'm trying to get on with my day. He's late on the rent. It's going
Really?
through a lot.
Really?
You're 10 days late.
Paying Genghis Khani, which is awesome.
That's a great
So
name.
wonderful.
Terrible.
How awesome is it that, like, in the first episode, out of all of the Marvel properties, this dropped the most names to the most other properties. Like, within a span of 15 minutes, we got, like, Justin Hammer. We got Odin not Odin, Thor and Iron Man. We got a reference to Jessica
We have
Jones.
the
bootleg
references-
incident videos.
Yeah,
Oh
the
my
references.
god! Yes.
I love the Justin Hammer one, which is Iron Man 2.
Yeah.
For anyone who doesn't remember, who had blocked that movie out of
Yeah.
their consciousness.
The best one.
But I love that like Hammer Tech is still around. Like
Yeah.
not everything has to be Stark Tech. especially because he's not making guns anymore.
Yeah, so you got bootleg Stark, which is Hammer.
Yeah. But yeah, the incident for Avengers, they make that quick reference of the shotgun incident.
Yeah.
In episode 2, we get Turk running around.
Yeah.
Frickin' Turk. And we'll talk about him and everything that he does.
Turk the Undying.
Yeah. But let's move forward a little bit, because like when Luke's at the club and then he gets put into the bartender role, he's like, yeah, no, I know how to do that. And then Misty Knight shows up.
Oh my God.
Was anybody squealing? Because I was.
Yeah.
The flirtation banter.
So-
How did you guys feel about... I'm going to ask a question, though, because how did you guys feel about the fact that they were sort of, like, ripping on each other to flirt?
I loved it.
Yeah.
I
That's
loved
right
it.
for the characters, right?
Totally.
Yes. It's also how, I mean, I don't know if you guys have black families, but that's how you get along. You know, you're not close to someone unless you're tearing them down. You
Yeah.
know? And that was like, to me, that was the ultimate way of flirting. They're just like, I was steaming up. Just because it was real good. It was real hot.
TMI.
Hey, I'm still steaming up. I'm all in it.
Your glasses, they're steaming up.
He's not even talking about the sex scene.
No, just the flirting.
I'm with you, because when he says, I ponder a woman, I was like, well, I'm done. I'm out. That was amazing. Just, oh my goodness, those two. And to feel like it's one thing to flirt in a cutesy kind of like tee way. It's entirely another to be like on an adult level of ripping, like just shredding a person down. Like, your jacket's small, so's your dress.
Zoom.
Oh.
Do you want a drink?
Coffee then, yes, of course.
Neither of us like coffee. Good.
No one in Harlem likes
Like
coffee.
I would say no one in the world likes coffee. We're all pretenders.
What? No.
Whoa, I'm a
It's
tea
called
person
a,
and coffee. I could do both.
It's called the brain being tricked into liking it by activating the adrenal gland. But
You're wrong.
I
The
do
more you
have
know,
to
it's
say...
That's my most controversial statement I've ever made on a Marvel thing. That's going to give me the most hate.
I do have to say, though, Misty, kind of a bad job being undercover.
Yeah.
She's staring at her target
I know.
to the point where the bartender, who she doesn't know is like a hero in all this, he could have easily been like on Cottonmouth's side.
Pale, yeah.
She's just staring at him without even blinking.
She does not have a great cover story either. I'm an accountant.
auditor.
Yeah, an auditor. Just checking bills and things.
Man, you work late hours,
Right.
auditor.
I
There
see
are
no
a number
paper in
of
front
jobs.
of you.
Yeah, I
Like,
know.
what's happening here?
There are a number of jobs that need you to leave and go do things in the middle of the night. Auditor
There's
is
not one of them. Where's your calculator?
She's calculated all in her head.
Oh yeah, totally.
Super
She's
smart.
that good.
But before the auditor thing, we got to talk about that scene.
Oh, man.
That scene where like Luke Cage just like they're just basically like, Mike Colter, you're a beautiful man, so we're gonna give you all the hottest sex scenes
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Thank you.
that have ever been on any Marvel. Like this was like more like this is
My note is just, yowza.
I think that's pretty close to the Jessica Jones sex scene when she and Luke first hook up.
I don't know. This felt like
This
raw.
felt seamier.
A little bit,
than
yeah.
Maybe it's because
This
it didn't
was
have
more-
the superhero aspects to like take you out of it for
That's
a
also
moment.
true.
But
Yeah.
it just like felt like this was like yeah.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't even have words.
I mean, that's what it looks like when all of us have sex, right? Like that's what.
Hey, yes.
Yeah, okay.
You're correct.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think the Jessica Jones sex scene. The great thing about that was when they realized that they didn't have to hold back. Like that was the sexy part of that, and this one was just like it was shot really well, and it was just like, oh, these two have been flirting all night. That's what this is. Like,
This is
has been
drunk sex.
building up for a while. Yeah, I think that number one, I really connected with Luke Cage with that jacket thing because I'm 6'4". I'm a big guy. I've been given jackets that I need to wear and shirts, and it's always just been like the sleeves are up to here on me, and like I was seeing, I was like, yeah, it should have. I think it should have been smaller. I think he should have been like. I think he should have been like bursting out of it. If you ever see a professional wrestler in a suit, it's always like you should just be wearing spandex, dude, because this looks wrong on you.
Another moment that in the club sequence, just that I thought was really important to the character, is that moment where the waitress asks him to go upstairs.
Yeah.
And you see this look of like, I should not go upstairs. This will not end well if I go upstairs. But Luke's also too good a person to let her go up there by herself.
He's been trying to lay low this entire time. He doesn't want people to know about him.
Well,
Yeah.
and again, with his size, like a mob boss is gonna be like, "What do you do? And how can I get you on my payroll? Like, I need you to protect me. You're ginormous."
It's literally the first thing that
yeah,
Cottonmouth does.
Of course.
You ever carried a gun?
I'm good, man. I'm straight.
I mean,
Thanks, though.
if you're hiding from the law, being up there with a councilwoman as well seems like a bad idea.
I don't know how many councilwomen are calling in arrests.
They might be. They'd be like, I seen you on the news. It'll really help my numbers to get you in.
She's trying to get the black vote. She can't turn people in off the streets. No way Harlem will vote her in again.
Well, let's talk about Mariah, right?
Yes.
Mariah Stokes.
Yeah.
Which, in episode 2, when they dropped that they were cousins, it really just brought that relationship to so much more of a head. I almost wish they dropped it earlier.
Yeah.
It would have informed their relationship even faster. But I think this being a Netflix show and like the book aspect of Netflix, they're just like, no, that's revealed when it's revealed. Oh man, she is. I can't decide if she's good or not. Is she good? Like, is she good with like just bad means, or is she like does she have like real evil stuff going on hidden behind like the good work?
I think they're trying to show that they're the same side of the same coin. Like, even though I think she thinks she's good, and she thinks she's separate from her cousin, I think what they're trying to show is they're the same person.
Well, okay, all right, I got it. I want to thought. Okay, so I feel like Mariah is not evil, but will do whatever it takes to meet her goal, which will sometimes bring out evil acts. I'll put it that way. Like,
She's
yeah,
lawful evil.
I even feel like she would
neutral.
break the law, but like, look, to me, evil is like, I intend to hurt a lot of people. I think
Sure.
Mariah is like, I want a legacy, but I also want to help. Like, I think she has a genuine desire to help and raise up her community, but also, maybe don't get in my way. Like, because right now she's letting her cousin do all the dirty work. I'm interested to see how long that lasts. I don't think it lasts very long before Mariah's like, okay, you clearly aren't handling your stuff all of the time. Because as we know, Marvel villains like don't tend to have this very straight arc of like, this is my plan, and then I reveal my plan, and then I'm taken down. Like, they have this very like rough road to climb in order to meet their goals. I think Cottonmouth is going to slip up, and I think Mariah is going to do whatever it takes to make sure that her legacy stays intact.
Yeah, I would say chaotic good is closer to her level, because she's willing to do like whatever it takes. But I think she does have good intentions at the end of the day. She just doesn't care enough about like what happens in the way. Like, I smack over my Quake toy by accident as I'm gesturing with my hand. But I do love the idea of this like duo. They're sort of like filling a similar role to like Fisk.
Yeah.
And they even say like, remember Fisk? Like, look what happened to him.
Well, it reminds me. Well, it reminds me because I think Cottonmouth kind of idolizes a lot of like the Italian mafia from like the 1930s. I think that's kind of what he's built a large part of his image around, and it reminds me a lot of the relationship that the Italian mob had with a lot of Congress people and union leaders and stuff like that during that time, where like the union leaders or the Congress people were trying to get things done in their community, but they needed that mafia money in order to fund it. Basically,
yeah.
So it's kind of a similar, like, symbiotic relationship between the two of them.
I like that comparison because it plays well into the first cousin aspect of it as well.
Yeah.
They play like first cousins. Like, we grew up from the block from each other, and that's why we're able to riff so well on one another. Yeah. And also, nobody loves you like family, but nobody will check you faster than family too. And I get that sense from them a lot. I like the Italian family.
Yeah.
Comparisons. It works.
No, that's cool. I mean, it's very interesting the setting of this show, because it is clearly like, obviously it's Harlem, but it's the timeline that we're dealing with is sort of it's not quite 2016. I mean, this is set in 2016. Let me be clear.
Right.
But this feels like it's set almost during like the 70s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like time displaced into today.
They've done a
today's
really
technology.
great job of modernizing a blaxploitation film, like taking out all the parts of like classic blaxploitation that irk a modern day audience.
You mean like chain belts and tiaras?
Not just the costuming, but like the idea of like it's all like your villain is always like a white guy, which is kind of irksome, or the idea that women are mostly there as like sexual deities instead of as like actual human beings. Taking the music, they use a lot of like 70s style music, but then they pair it with hip hop, which is just a natural progression of hip hop anyway. I like the things they've done to modernize it and then to still make it resonate with audiences today. But then you have all these like perfect little callbacks to either kung fu movies like we were talking about earlier, or early blaxploitation films, like especially in some of the costuming. Yes, Missy's dress to me called back like some early blaxploitation stuff, like shimmery blue. I liked it.
There was a shot of them walking out of the club that was exactly from "I'm Gonna Get You, Sucker," and I was like, nice, clever, well done. Yeah, there's a lot of those callbacks, but it feels 2016.
Yeah,
it feels like it's taking place now, but it's just with like 70s flavor. Mm-hmm. Like, and it's like a really nice palette that they chose as well. Like the color palettes for all of these Marvel Netflix shows always like help reflect who the character is. So we get like red with Daredevil, we get purple with Jessica Jones, and now we've got like this warm orange kind of thing for Luke Cage, and it makes it feel kind of vintage.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, it's good. I mean, the direction in these episodes was also really interesting. Cottonmouth, like going back to him, was like
so
the
good.
most like clear. Just there's a lot of throughout the episode. There's a lot of up angles that they use to really show you who's in power and who's not. But with Cottonmouth, it's this continual like whenever he gets into a speech or he's like saying something where he's like, you're gonna listen to this.
Yeah,
it's this dead on shot where he's not spiking the lens. He's not looking directly at the audience, but you almost feel like he is. Mm-hmm. And I think there's something about the fact that he's not, but you think he's supposed to be, that is uncomfortable in the most perfect way, because you're like afraid of him, but especially when he goes crazy eyes.
Super Saiyan.
But it's
Super Saiyan.
I said it.
That was weird when Cottonmouth went blonde all of a sudden.
See that weird just gust of wind happening?
Yeah,
I don't know.
it's insane.
Crazy.
He had an
Insane.
aura that was like yellow.
He was just screaming the entire time. I just for like 3 episodes. I don't know what was happening.
I was like, I like this, but I mean, this is a weird direction.
But it gives him this sort of like power that we've never seen done just with camera work before on a Marvel show.
Yeah,
it's very interesting.
After he killed Shamik, the camera held on him almost looking straight down the barrel.
Yeah.
Like like you said, he's not quite like, that the camera guy just has his hand up and that's where he's looking, but it's almost straight down the barrel. And I was like, is he looking at me? Like,
Am I next?
did he just kill that guy and he's looking at me?
Oh God, that scene was intense.
So good.
But I like kudos to the team, because like if you guys do Black Twitter, like it's just exhausting, like the amount of just black violence, like black bodies in violence. It's just been so much and so overwhelming, and I like that without removing that aspect from the show, they found a way of not exploiting it or making it kind of challenging to watch. So right when dude spits on Cottonmouth, which you're like, oh hun, poor decision. Like he is slapping you and leaving like nice like bruises, like cutting open your face. He did not take his rings off. Like he was going full ham, and he was just like thought he was a man. And then when he's like, oh great, I can hit you like a man, I was like, oh no, it's on. And sound effects.
Yep, I had to take my
crunching.
headphones off. I was like, I can't do this right now.
Hearing that, you just know his face is like collapsing in on itself.
And especially when he went quiet too. I was like, yep, that's it.
Yeah, great, like just guttural, like being pounded noises from that actor.
Yeah.
I was really impressed. It was almost too real, but really great. Chunks of blood flying everywhere. I really liked this scene. I'm into violence. I was like, this is great.
Yeah.
Well, Cottonmouth.
just real quick, leading up to that, when he talked about his Biggie painting,
Oh,
and they
God.
framed it perfectly.
Oh, yeah.
He walked into frame, and the crown goes right on his head, and I was like, "Come on, guys, come on!"
I had to hit pause and just be like, I just want this.
Yeah.
As like my background for everything because it's and I love that the speech too that he made about how like what's the one thing that you notice on this painting? It's the crown. And then as soon as he walked up, ding! I was like, oh, I don't know who shot this, but oh my god, it's
I love the
beautiful.
idea of using Biggie as like the
Yeah.
prime example of masculine strength
Yeah.
within this community. I think it works. So we've seen so many like whether it's guns or dollar like old ancient king paintings to see like Biggie is the king of New York. Like it just worked on such a visceral level. I loved it.
And I love that everything else in his office is kind of it's muted in the background. You only see that Biggie painting. Every time the camera's in that weird circular window, you see Biggie and just Cottonmouth.
And you get the sense that he actively made that decision. Like, that's
Yeah.
not a
Yeah.
set design decision. That was a Cottonmouth decision.
Right.
Yeah.
And this character, like, they... In the style that Netflix's Marvel shows have continually done, they really get into... They show you this character, they make you fear this character, and then they give you just enough of their backstory, and I'm sure we're going to get more as we go, to make you, like, sympathize with them a little bit, to the point where you're like, oh, but you're not... I mean, I don't want to hate you, but yeah, you're doing real bad stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because in that flashback where we find out that it was Pop, and it was Pop, Cottonmouth, and it was Shades, right? Or
no.
it was
Chico's
it was
father.
Chico's father.
dad,
Sorry,
yeah.
yeah.
Frederico, I want to say.
Something like
Sounds
that.
vaguely right. It's just not a good day for our
Alright.
falling over.
I would like
Get
to
it
say,
right, Jesse.
I'd like to say the blind man has not fallen off yet.
Well, that's because the Funko bodies don't need special stands for
That's
the
true.
guys.
Yeah.
Anyway, not the topic of discussion
Yeah.
today. What do you guys think of the flashback and that like revelation about the three of them, or mainly the two of them?
It hit really well for me. To know like that Pop had not just been in prison, but have felt he needed to be there and like come through it. It seems to coincide a lot with what Luke needs right now, so I thought that was interesting. I like that a name that is so sentimental and sweet to us now was at
Yeah.
one point terrifying to
Yeah.
people. I like to that like informed so much of his change as a person just from that name. It was the sound my fist made. Like, God, like it just must haunt you. Well, it must be haunting to know that life you left behind and hear that name and know what it used to mean. And then to know how far he got away from Cottonmouth. Like, I'm looking forward to seeing like what happened there. Was it like a terrible division? Was it just time? Was it just Cottonmouth didn't get caught and stayed out? Like,
It makes scenes like the razor scene, like where Pop is
Yeah.
shaving him it informs that. It makes it so much more interesting because Pop was the leader of that group. And now Pop is just like, he's running his barbershop, like he's the peacekeeper of the neighborhood. Everyone knows he is.
Switzerland.
Yeah, I love that analogy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Cottonmouth here is like running the streets.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Really. And he like makes his old boss like give him a shave in a way.
and almost walks without paying for it.
Yeah, which I was like, well, you guys used to be friends. Like, you can't even give him like a few bucks. Like, come on now.
It's $25, bro. You're running an empire.
I'm like,
Yeah.
I think you can manage giving like gas money for yeah.
Not gonna lie though, $25 is a lot for a shave, guys.
I was surprised by how much it cost.
I mean, $25.
You can't
best
talk
get
to me.
a
You can't talk to
lined
Joelle
up
and I
and
because we spend thousands of dollars on her hair. So I was like, oh, $25, whatever. Yeah. Go for it.
I also like that Pop is he's basically a bridge between our two main characters. He's what his old self is what Cottonmouth is now, and his new self is what Luke Cage is.
Yeah.
And so you also get it in that scene where they're both mourning at the same time, and that like now you get to see essentially where they both could end up.
Yeah. Yeah, I also want to point out that we got a Diamondback reference drop.
Yeah.
Which Marvel people, without spoilers, just think about Diamondback. He's probably going to show up eventually. It's a name that's been in the Marvel comics a lot. I think currently Diamondback is a woman in purple spandex who can throw daggers really well. This is a different Diamondback.
Alex is like, yeah, that's what I like.
no, you wouldn't know. I was like, yes.
Well, Jesse, like, explain, like, in the 616 comic book universe.
Yeah, so there was like a snake gang, and Cobra Commander, and they all had names of different types of snakes. Cottonmouth is a water snake that has a white mouth, so it's called Cottonmouth. And then Diamondback was like the leader of this gang. They had a lot of different iterations because, currently I believe they're all women, and one of them has the power over gas. It's weird. But yeah, in the Luke Cage universe, like Luke Cage in his early iteration spent a lot of time just fighting gangs in New York. And this was like his main antagonistic force. He was mostly like a freak a week guy. He didn't have a lot of like carrying over story arc or anything like that. But like one of the main like teams that he fought were these like snake gang guys. And Cottonmouth in the original story was like his best friend who betrayed him. This is a different kind of story that they're showing. But I feel like that's going to be like the main, like if we're talking about Fisk, Diamondback I feel like is going to be the guy that is the Fisk of this universe. And
So you think Cottonmouth, like, I mean, obviously Cottonmouth is answering to Diamondback.
yeah,
But you think that we're going to get Diamondback coming in to, like, sort of take over the scene, even though Shades promised that was not what this was.
yeah, it feels like, yeah, with Shades there, that's about to happen. And also, I'd like to point out that, like, the big, like, problem people have with the Marvel movies is that the villains aren't as good as the DC villains. In the Marvel Netflix series, the villains are the best part of them.
Yeah.
And, like, Cottonmouth is such a great, complicated character, and the actor who's playing him is destroyed. Like, this should win all the awards.
Yeah.
Like, he is so good. There was a scene when in the second episode, but there's a scene where he shows like brutal aggression and regret and shame all at the exact same time, and it destroyed. Like, he and Misty Knight are so far just killing it as far as actors go, and like it's a shame that these Netflix series aren't getting any like award buzz or anything like that, because they really should. Like, they've
Just
been,
cinematography alone,
it's
like
so good.
Like these performances are great, and like Mahershala Ali, who plays Cottonmouth in the Luke Cage series, is obviously doing great, as we were saying. But
so
like
good.
these, as we had talked about earlier, like the beautiful shots. I mean, hopefully the Academy just wises up and is like, quality here. It took them 5 seasons to recognize Orphan Black, so I'm gonna give them a pass. And hopefully,
true.
before
Look, genre TV is always a tough sell when it comes to award seasons. Jessica Jones got one for opening titles.
Yeah.
Which I like these opening titles. They're not quite as big as like the Jessica Jones or Daredevil ones, but they also didn't need to be. I think that the Harlem, like, sort of tore through Harlem shots was like exactly what.
Well, this is
Luke
so
Cage
much more a
needed
personal
it to
journey,
be.
I think,
Yeah.
than either Daredevil or Jessica Jones, which is so much
Yeah.
more about the
Yeah.
people and their families around them, where this is about Luke Cage rebuilding himself. So I like that it's just like the city within him, and it's just walking through your town to figure out like what to do next.
Yeah.
It's-
No, it's very cool. Let's dive deeper into episode 2 and everything
Yes,
that happens
please.
in there, because after the shootout, which was in episode 1, and very interestingly like intercut with everything as it all goes down. It almost felt like a flashback.
Yeah.
For a moment, but I guess we got to talk about that. Like, that scene was nuts.
It was crazy. Just for the shootouts, but then like oh my gosh, I'm blanking on the character's name when he shoots his friend.
Dante.
Dante,
yeah.
thank you. Sorry, guys. When Dante turns, I was like, this is the most just crazy. Like, I couldn't even believe that we were going that hard that fast. You know, like, and we know a little bit about their backstory, just about them coming up on the streets together, and they're also our basketball players, and obviously they came up with this plan together. And for it to be over that quick, it kind of shows the state of Harlem they want us to view it as. Like, kids will just turn on each other and turn cutthroat in 2.5.
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Which is also like, I mean, look, it's not like New York City is completely safe nowadays. It's a little safe. That's why this felt like a little bit more of a throwback. But same thing with Hell's Kitchen. In Jessica Jones and Daredevil, like Hell's Kitchen is now like
Chelsea.
But
but they frame it by using the incident as
Yeah.
setting everything back several years. So that's why we're sort of in this zone. For anyone who didn't watch like Daredevil and stuff, that was sort of the idea was that because the incident happened, all the development that had gone on in New York City throughout the years sort of just got sent back because of destruction and then money being dispersed elsewhere to fix that destruction.
and like aggressive land ownership.
And that's sort of,
that
I
kind of
think, I
stuff.
guess that's where Mariah sort of comes in. She's like, this neighborhood has been left in the dust and forgotten in the wake of everything that they're trying to fix downtown. And not even Hell's Kitchen, but just like, we got to fix Grand Central because there
Yeah.
was a giant whale monster that crashed into it. As there is.
I wanted to clarify, Dante was the one that died.
Got shot,
Yeah.
Yes.
Shamik is the one, yeah.
the shooter.
Thank you.
Yes. Thank you, Christian. In the chat.
But yeah, Dante he survives just long enough to make everything worse.
Which, guys, can we talk about it? Petty or righteous? Like, to call it, like, I'm dying. And, I mean, yes, your bros turned on you, but they were your bros. I don't know. I was like, I don't know why I questioned a dying man's last like action, but I was like, it's kind of petty, bro.
Hey, he got shot, man. Everything is on the table at that point.
At
You
this
know?
point. It's like, come on. Like,
I don't
That's
think
a
there's
fine argument.
anything wrong with calling somebody who can do something about, like, because it wasn't like, oh, I got shot in the like the firefight like by one of the other guys and now I'm ratting them out because I'm dying. This was like, no, we did it, you guys. We officially managed to rob my boss, and then you shot me because you thought I might snitch because we.
You were sounding like you were going to snitch, though. Like, with his friends on this one.
All right, we're not bringing Joelle on any like crime papers.
You're not the first friend
When
to
this-
say that.
when this panel decides to go and be like, steal stuff, we're not bringing Joelle.
Joelle, you stay
fair.
home.
Can I be at Oracle? Guys, coordinate from
Yeah.
home?
Yeah,
I'm
cool.
more comfortable there anyway.
All right, but so like obviously then episode 2, like the crux becomes the hunt for Chico.
Yeah.
Oh, poor Chico.
Babyface Chico.
Oh my god.
Who really, and they like Misty even says at one point like she knows him. It's like he's a follower.
Yeah.
Like he wouldn't have come up with this idea, but he went through with it. Do you guys think what do you guys think about the parlay plan that Pop laid out? Do you think that could have worked?
Nope.
Yeah,
Like
totally.
assume that like the craziness that went down didn't. Do you think like Alexis says no? Do you think like any scenario where nobody dies?
I think to go back to like talking about the Italian mafia, it represented, like in The Godfather, they think that it's an older time and that this is a time when honor existed and that kind of thing. And I think that's what Pop thought. It represented his time when he was a gangster and when he was coming up, that there was honor in it, that there were rules. And
I mean, that's that great line from Cottonmouth to
Yeah.
end the episode. Like, believe it or not, there's supposed to be rules to this shit.
yeah.
Which is why I think it could have worked. I think Cottonmouth respected Pop enough to like Chico might have gotten a beat down. Like it might
I
be
think it
blood in,
definitely
blood
was.
out
Yeah.
kind
Yeah.
of thing. But probably not death. Probably just out of respect for Pop. Probably like he could have gone on living. He hadn't turned that money over. But you'd have been fine. You'd have been
That's
okay.
what Pop offers is like Chico leaves New York City and never comes back. Like
Yeah.
that was the deal.
Well, that's why I thought that would never actually happen. Like he would probably leave eventually, but I knew that he was gonna make the Cottonmouth was gonna make his life a living hell, just at least for a day or two.
Yeah.
Before actually letting him completely go.
Yeah.
But I also didn't trust, obviously, his crew, and I was like, "There's no way that there's not gonna be at least one death out of here, and it's probably gonna be Chico," which
Yeah.
technically it was.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Yeah. Well, Chico's alive by the end of the episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, stupid
So
hit, man.
upset.
Yeah, I mean, as that storyline progressed, and we'll go back into like the steps of this, but just like since we're here, the moment where I don't know what the like gangster guy's name is. Cottonmouth's like lackey.
Oh, I don't remember his name.
Tone.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's probably Anthony.
Probably.
But this guy, like, do you think it's just that he thinks he's doing things his boss can't say and ask him to do?
No,
I
Or is
think
he
Tone
like, he's pissed because Dante died?
No,
No.
I think he was upset that Shades was pretty much trying to control everything, so he thought I could be really, really cool and be one-up
and
Shades by doing this.
Yeah.
And we see Tone in the first episode, like, just rubbing up on that chick being sleazy as hell. Like, I just think he's advantageous. I just think he's like, oh, here's an opportunity. I'm going to take it. I think he wants to be king next, and I don't think he realizes how not as intelligent as Cottonmouth is. He's just reactionary.
Yeah, there's something about taking 2 submachine guns and just firing willy-nilly into a plate. Like, he's trying to make a statement for himself. Like, I think he wants to be king next, and he wants to be, like, known as someone ruthless, but he's just not smart about it. And so I think that's what he's going for, is he's, like, trying to make a name for himself.
I mean, he clearly doesn't care. I mean, remember when he went to go pay Pop? He just dropped the money on the ground.
Yeah.
So I think he
Asshole.
wouldn't have cared if anything even, you know.
He's the guy who brings swagger because he thinks it's the important thing.
Yep.
He wants to run the political game, but he doesn't understand politics.
Yeah.
Feels weird. Smell familiar.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah, but like, so when I guess he, and if he wants to be Shades, you gotta get a thing, man. If you want to run things in the Marvel universe, you gotta get a thing.
You have to have a thing.
You can't just be Tone.
Maybe he was working on it. Maybe he had like a triangle in his pocket and he's like, my name's Tone. Ding!
Oh, get out of here. Get out of here with your crap. Also, I'm going to make a
getting
swear
there.
jar for this.
I did like that Shades at least like didn't wear shades all the time.
Yeah.
And it feels shady without it.
Oh,
Like, I feel like without
you
the
did that
glasses
on
even.
purpose.
Yeah, that's what I feel like it resonates. Like when he takes them off, you're like, oh, the Shades is deeper than just the glasses. Like this guy's got thinking weird things. He gives a serial killer vibe off to me.
Yeah.
I feel like he could definitely. I'm looking forward to a one-on-one fight with this guy. Like, what is your secret?
Well-
What do you got hiding?
Well, that was an interesting scene in episode 1 where he was like, now tell me, was it an inside job? And he takes his shades off and looks Cottonmouth in the eyes. And I was like, wait, who has power here? Like, it was one of those things where it's like, I don't know which guy is intimidated and which guy isn't right now. Because he was really freaky in that scene.
He's a really
But I
good
also-
introduction. Sorry, go ahead.
No, it's okay. I was gonna say I also like that even Cottonmouth kind of caught on because he's like it feels like a takeover all of a sudden.
Yeah.
So you kind of saw a little bit of like the kind of moment, and I thought that was crazy. I love the presence that he brings, but I also like that Shades is also kind of has a knowledge of how rules work to a point because he knew he's like we should have waited for Gio to come outside.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, we didn't get to it in episode 1, but the scene where they save the Chinese restaurant, where he saves the Chinese restaurant.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
And, like, they pay him, and he's like, I'm not for hire.
That was so
"You will
great.
be. You will
Yeah.
be."
Well, let's circle back to Luke as we sort of like come
Yeah.
like we've got like about like I want to say we've got like 9 minutes left or so.
Oh, God.
Jeez.
Well, look, like we can't we can't talk about every single moment of the show, but I want to talk about the big ones. And coming back to Luke, like we started with him, let's finish with him.
Yeah.
Because the moment where there are a few moments where he decides to be a hero in this, and the Chinese restaurant scene is a big one because this protection racket political donation thing that's
Yeah.
happening, which is
How terrifying.
Yeah,
Yeah.
like because it's even scarier than a normal protection racket because the law is behind these people. Like just by they're like, no, donate to this political campaign or we're gonna mess your shit up.
I already voted for her, man. Like she's in there.
Like she's there.
I gave her what I have to give. Like what?
And I'm very curious to see what it is that they're actively trying to do with this. Like this money. Like she's like stealing money to help out her cousin, but like what is it that she's trying to do with the Crispus Attucks Center?
I don't know if there's a negative secondary thing
is it
there.
nefarious or is it not? It's hard to tell.
Interesting.
I don't think it is though.
Yeah, I don't get nefarious from it.
Yeah, like it feels like it feels like she started this project, got way in over her head, and now like she has to rely on shadier means to fund it. So I think that she's ultimately like just trying to get this thing off the ground or on the ground, but she just doesn't have what it takes to finish it out.
Yeah. I mean, and again, we were talking about like the city's budget is like placed in other like areas of the city. So she feels like this is the only way that she can raise funds, I guess.
Yeah.
But this, when he decides like, no, I will not stand for having Connie messed with.
Yeah.
It's disrespectful. The scene was great. Like,
the one guy who survived was like, I didn't even like these guys. I was like, okay, that guy's cool.
yeah, that was funny.
Just the intro to the scene of dude just swinging and then that
Oh,
blown
God.
shot. I was like,
jeez.
it's on! Like, it's happening!
And even when he, like, after he pulled back, like, the actual squeal of pain that, like, emanated from his body, I was like, yeah, your whole entire shit's broken.
Right? You just jacked it all the way
That's it.
up.
No, it's completely bad. And I loved how we had different personalities from each thug, I guess. But I
Yeah.
also liked with, I don't even know their actual names, with the store owners, how the wife who's been mostly giving him crap has been like, oh, you have to help us. But the husband's like, now we're going to get more trouble. Look what you did. And I'm like, wow, that's a very realistic thing to feel. Because it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, you helped us. Oh, crap, they're going to come back now.
And then she
Sucks.
wants to hire him.
And I was like, oh.
As a hero.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah. You wanted to kick him out like 5 seconds ago.
That was great. But like I think they're both reading the terrain of like this was good in the moment because we couldn't afford to pay them. But the husband's right. Like this is gonna come back. They're not gonna just forget that these guys got laid out in their store. But at the same time, like they see different. Like the husband doesn't really have a solution, but she sees like he took care of this. We should hire him.
Yeah.
I also think it's odd that no one questioned the fact that he took a bullet to the hand.
Nope. Didn't even
We
think
don't
about it.
want to know about that. We're just happy the way things turned out.
Well, I think we saw in like Jessica Jones, like people are now kind of accepting
Yeah.
that there are some people with powers out there.
Yeah.
And that maybe these guys were like, number one, I feel like in a fight you would be like, I don't know what happened, but also I think that there's just like an acceptance that like there are some people out there who, some people are super strong, some people can take a bullet to the hand.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or the stomach, as the case may be.
But then it's episode 2, like the way it started and ended, it framed nicely with this, with Luke staring at the Crispus Attucks Center.
Yeah.
Because we came off that scene which like left me with chills after episode 1.
Yeah.
And then opened up on him just like standing there staring without context, and then we got the reason he's standing there was Pop dying.
Yeah.
What an amazing monologue. Like,
Yeah.
start
So-
to finish. Like, you're going to educate the kids. You're going to, like, stand up for yourself. And you see him in this moment be like, okay, I understand a little more who I am now. And he starts to formulate a plan. And it's, like, at this point where I'm like, Luke Cage is here. Like, we're finally getting, like, comic book, like, full-on Luke Cage. I'm so excited.
It was an intense moment with this kid who, like, I guess he's like working the perimeter or whatever.
Yeah.
Sees exactly the thing he's supposed to be like checking for, like a guy just standing staring at him. And then like Luke just fucking presses his face into the gun.
Oh.
Just so hard, just hardcore as hell, just like walking forward. You see the kid, like, of course you would shrivel back. That's so scary. It's just, you're supposed to be afraid of this. It's one thing that gives him power in this moment. It's completely taken away just because he has no fear. And then, like, guys, I'm sorry, I just have to talk about this moment when he was like, I will never be tired enough to let anybody
Yes.
call me that name.
I was
Oh,
going to
yeah.
talk about how in this show, especially, is that you can see, depending on whether it's class or history or whatever that you've had with our characters, who uses the N-word and who doesn't, just from whatever character they've had. But I love at the very end, that's the last 2 scenes from episode 2 are my favorite so far, is because it really shows that, like, there are people who hate using this word, and I love that they're trying to put it out there, that it's not just something that we just throw willy-nilly.
Right.
I love that. And just that whole speech I was shaken up, because I was like, this is exactly, I love that. It's just fantastic. I can have, like, no exact words of what it did to me, but, like, it was just, it's just so good.
Yeah.
Emotions pooled.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, because I've heard and given that speech, like, to
Yeah.
younger and older, like, it's so, like, it definitely resonated, like you said,
Yeah.
and I think it's something that could be the overall, like, thesis of this show.
Sure,
you know.
yeah. But I
Yeah.
also, like, especially for me, since I'm only half, a lot of people's like, oh, you technically don't have the right to say that name. I'm like, you shouldn't either, because it's technically not used in a good term, so
Right.
don't even use it at all. So, like, that argument has been going on for so long, and I just love that we have a show that's just, that can implement that talk to everybody, whether it's someone who's older and someone who's younger. So.
Absolutely.
It's especially interesting because this is a show that is so unashamedly black in everything it does.
Yeah.
I'm glad that, like, it can have those conversations.
Yeah.
And then we can have that here. I do want, before we go, I wanted to take a look at some of the songs, because if you guys aren't aware, each episode of the show is named for a Gang Starr song.
Yep.
And I was listening to some Gang Starr on the way in to the studio today, and, like, listening to the lyrics, it's so clear that these have been so carefully chosen, which episode is going to be with which title. If you listen to Moment of Truth, there are lyrics that apply to both Luke and to Cottonmouth, and, like, what they're going through as they go on this journey. So, like, I want to pick out a few lyrics and talk about it real quick, because, I mean, Moment of Truth has, like, the most obvious one in it, because it literally says, no one is untouchable, no man is bulletproof.
We know one guy.
Just one.
We know one guy who's bulletproof.
But before that, the lyric is just, they say it's lonely at the top in whatever you do. You always got to watch motherfuckers around you.
I'm seriously bringing a swear jar. I'm putting it right there, right in the middle of the table.
That'd be
awesome.
all right, yeah, let's
Yeah.
make a swear
I'm gonna
jar.
do it. I'm gonna make a swear jar.
I owe a lot of money already. But, like, I think especially, like, through these 2 episodes, like, lonely at the top is exactly what Luke has been sort of afraid of. Like, he doesn't want to be the hero, because that's, like, a lonely lifestyle. Look at, like, Iron Man or Captain America or any of these guys, even from the public personas that people can see. Like, it's clearly a lonely world that they're living in.
Yeah. I mean, all of the journeys we've seen with all of the heroes, especially in the Netflix series, they start off with a support system. And in all of the Netflix series so far, by the end of their series, they've lost most of their support system.
Yeah. And then in episode 2 is Code of the Streets, which obviously is very applicable title-wise
Sure, yeah.
to the second episode. But the one that I picked up, like, they might say we're a menace to society, but at the same time, I say, why is it me? Am I a target for destruction? What about the system and total corruption? Which is really, I think, what Luke is seeing at the end of this, is, like, the fact that nothing is going to happen from the shootout, and this politician is gaining everything from all of this. Like, that the money that got taken in there went directly to the Crispus Attucks Center.
Yeah.
Did.
For sure, yeah.
And he sees the backpack, so he
Yeah.
knows 100% where it went.
yeah.
He's out for revenge.
Yeah,
I better
it's-
watch your back.
There's going to be a lot of, like, comptrollers being thrown around. like, just people with clipboards getting punched. Like,
Can that be a Marvel villain name? The Comptroller.
he goes door to door.
I'd watch that programming.
But as we wrap up, guys, because we couldn't get to every moment from these amazing first 2 episodes, do you guys have any moments that we didn't talk about that you want to mention real quick that you really loved?
Misty Knight doing her detective work.
Yeah.
Like watching
Oh, that was
her
cool.
slip in and out of like this trance like 3D model.
That was crazy.
And it's so cool because it's not like the high tech stuff we see
Yeah.
a lot where it's like, and then the guy would have moved here and his laser showing us the stuff. Like it's just all in her head, like placing it out and figuring it out. And to see that and know that she's like an A+ detective, it gets me so excited as we move hopefully toward Diamondback and some of the other like intricate villains that we're hopefully going to get. I think it's going to be really exciting.
Real quickly, I just wanted to talk about our roof scene right at the very end there with Cottonmouth and Tone, and how he was so proud to talk about what he did. And I loved, this is the one thing that really sent chills up my spine with was Cottonmouth, where he was like, all right, it's okay. We'll give money to Pop. He'll rebuild. Everything will be fine. And literally just takes off his glasses and he's just like, sorry, bro. and just like there was no thought. He just kind of like started to kind of laugh, and I was like, oh, this is not gonna end well. And like not even didn't even think about it. He just threw him off the roof, and that was at that point I was like, yeah, I love that he was so angry that his pretty much his best friend just died because his lackey was a piece of crap. So
and Turk leaving Harlem.
I love how Turk was just like, all right, fine, I'm gonna go back to Hell's Kitchen where it's safe.
It's
I was
safe.
like, oh, you don't even know.
Hell's Kitchen has Daredevil, Punisher, Fisk. Like, that's safe compared to
He has no
up
idea
here.
what he's getting himself into. Also, Turk is a sleazy son of a bitch.
Oh my God.
I hate him so much, Lord. I can't. I was so
Bobby
mad
Fish.
at him.
I half expected to see Turk run down to the body and like take a wallet out and
I just have some references that I want to list off that I enjoyed. They listed a lot of amazing Harlem Renaissance authors. Read that list. They're all amazing. Zora Neale Hurston. Also, we got a Cheryl Miller reference. She scored 115 points in a college basketball game. She's Reggie Miller's sister, and she's better at basketball than Reggie Miller.
From him, like he says this.
The Lakers used to practice against her when they were practicing for Larry Bird. They would use her as the Larry Bird stand-in. She's an amazing basketball player. Also, the forward, always forward, is a reference to Boniface Wimmer, who is a German who did a lot of work before the separation of poor whites and poor blacks. He did a lot of work putting those communities together and keeping them together and like showing them that they were the same people. This happened early United States before the government separated both classes. But it is kind of like it was the thing that he was famous for, is like always moving forward always was kind of his thing. And that's what that quote is from.
Yeah, there's also a bunch of books that like we see Luke reading at different points.
Yeah.
Like we saw Little Green by Walter Mosley, and that's a story about it's about Los Angeles, but it's a detective novel about like finding a young black man who disappeared during an acid trip.
Whoa.
So I think it's like Luke dealing with like reading about people dealing with like the effects of drugs and like how that affects like a young black man and who might just disappear.
Yeah.
Way that a lot of people on this show are disappearing in different ways. Tauri, did you give your moment?
I didn't.
We got into a big discussion. And then I lost track.
No, I got nothing.
So many great moments. If you guys had anything that you loved from this episode we didn't get a chance to talk about, be sure to put it in the comments below on YouTube. Tweet at us. Write an iTunes review. We really appreciate any iTunes review. It's going to be hard. We obviously not going to be shout out during the first three. Because if you are joining us live, we're going to leave from the studio. We're going to go watch episodes 3 and 4, and then we're coming right back in. Then we're going to watch episodes 5 and 6 and come right back in. Because I can't wait. I'm too excited. But thank you guys so much for joining us for this first after show for Luke Cage. We were talking about episodes 1 and 2, Moment of Truth and Code of Secrets. I've been your host, Zach Wilson. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at @ThatZachWilson. Also, be sure to check out the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. after show every Tuesday and Marvel movie news on our sister network, Popcorn Talk. Tauri Miller.
Nice. I'm Tauri J. Miller. You can find me on Twitter and Instagram at TauriJ, TauriJay.
I'm Joelle Monique. You can find me all over the internet at Joelle Monique, every week at Black Girl Nerds, and check out my Twitter for the Westworld stuff coming up Sunday.
I'm Jesse Klein. You can find me at JessKlein1. You can also see me on Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Also, Sci-Fi Weekly with Zach Wilson at 3 o'clock live here at the West Coast.
On Wednesdays.
On Wednesdays.
Not just every day at 3
Not
o'clock.
every single day. We are here talking sci-fi.
And I'm Alexis Torres. I'll be here living on this couch for the next, I don't know how many weeks. But you can also find me and talk to me at atorres890.
All right, guys, that has been the Luke Cage After Show. We'll be back quickly with episodes 3 and 4. We are the Luke Cage After Show. Thanks for geeking out with us.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Sweet Christmas!
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.